Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to a look at some of the news stories that have been doing the rounds over the past few days. Kicking us off then is the news that Lewis Hamilton has once again denied rumours that he could be set for a switch to Ferrari. Over the last couple of years, there has been a lot of talk about whether or not the world champion would move to the Scuderia once his Mercedes deal expires at the end of this year. And those rumours gained a lot of traction late last year when it was revealed that Lewis met with chairman John Elkann, but it should be said, the rumours of an imminent deal were dismissed as being blown out of all proportion. However, last week, The Sun, which gives you some idea as to how reliable this rumour is, reported that Hamilton had been planning to join Ferrari next year, but after it emerged that Sebastian Vettel could be set to stay put, his hopes of joining the team were scuppered. Over on social media though, Hamilton shut down those rumours, insisting that he is with his dream team and so isn't looking to move to another team. His post read as follows. First off, there is no dream of a dash to another team. I am with my dream team. Second, there is not a thing in my way as I'm not trying to move. I am with the people who have cared from day one. We are the best team. There we have it then. It looks as though that Hamilton to Ferrari link has been severed for now at least, although I'm sure that won't stop the rumours doing the rounds again at some point in the near future. Again though, the initial story was reported by The Sun, so that should have been taken with around about 9.7 tonnes of salt, but at least on this occasion Hamilton was quick to call it out as nonsense. Then again, as I'm sure many of you will point out, he was never exactly going to come out and say, yep, I want to go to Ferrari, I'm off. But from a news point of view, it looks as though for now at least, Lewis Hamilton is staying at Mercedes for 2021. Now, it has been widely reported in the past that Hamilton's future could well be tied to what Toto Wolff decides to do with his own future, and many believe that should Toto stay at Mercedes, Hamilton would stick around. However, if he were to choose to move on, Lewis might consider doing the same. It is expected that Wolff will stay with the Silver Arrows next season, but over the weekend, as I'm sure many of you are well aware of now, it was confirmed that the Mercedes boss has bought shares in Aston Martin, which has led to some predicting the Austrian could join Lawrence Stroll once the current Racing Point team are rebranded as Aston for the 2021 season. And I'm sure there are plenty of people out there as well linking Lewis Hamilton to a seat at that team, but if that idea gets you excited, hold your horses, because the deal will not affect Toto Wolff's current position at the helm of Mercedes. A spokesperson for Mercedes said, fully diluted following the pending rights issue, this investment will represent a 0.95% stake in the company. It is a financial investment and Toto's partnership and executive role with Mercedes are unaffected by the transaction. Now, according to reports, Wolff bought a £37 million stake in the company, which amounts to 4.77%, which, as confirmed by that brief statement I just read, will eventually be watered down to just 0.95%. It should also be noted that Daimler, who are of course the Mercedes parent company, already hold a 5% stake with Aston Martin and supply engines for their road cars as well. So I suppose Toto's investment probably shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, really. The links and the ties are kind of already there, and there's been a lot of speculation anyway over the last few months that he and Lawrence Stroll have been talking. Again though, as I said with the whole Hamilton-Ferrari thing, despite that Mercedes statement, it's not going to stop the rumour mill from speculating, but it does appear as though everything is pointing towards both of them remaining with the Silver Arrows for at least one more season. I'd probably say they're there until they decide to give up on F1, but that's just my opinion. But given all the uncertainty around the world right now, I actually don't think this year's silly season will be anywhere near as silly as we were all expecting. In my view, I get the feeling most drivers will be staying where they are for 2021, and perhaps the driver market will explode next summer instead. Next up, and Guenther Steiner has said that he believes Haas are in F1 for the long haul amid speculation that Gene Haas could be set to pull the plug on the team's involvement with the sport. Whilst it is no secret that Haas is evaluating whether or not he wants to continue to invest in Formula 1, Steiner is actually very confident that the team are here to stay. And speaking on Sky Sports F1's vodcast, Guenther said, for sure, we have to see out this scenario, but if we can get in what the plan is now, we are good for the year. I'm in touch with Gene almost every day. He wants to be involved with what is happening, and he seems to be in a good place. We just need to be diligent. The budget cap, all this brings the teams together, and being competitive will help. So I think we are here to stay. If we find solutions for the mid and long term, then Gene is happy. As well as speaking to Sky F1, Steiner also discussed the team's future in an interview with Formula 1 where he went on to say, like all of us, he doesn't know what is coming in the near future and whether or not we are having races. He's happy to wait longer, but like any businessman, you are not happy to wait forever. Let's hope over the next few months we get a better view of the near future. Hopefully the situation doesn't stay as fluid as it is now. So, as of right now, there is a good chance that Haas will still be on the grid next year. However, a couple of weeks back, McLaren boss Zak Brown said that F1 risked losing as many as 4 teams if drastic cost-cutting measures weren't put in place. And many would argue that Haas could be one of those teams in danger of disappearing if something isn't done. Ultimately, these teams are businesses, and if they are not racing, they are not earning any money, which could leave some of them right on the brink. However, although there is concern over certain teams' futures, Christian Horner believes that Liberty Media will step in to prevent any team from going under. It is their business. They have to decide how do they keep these teams alive because they need teams to go racing. The Liberty guys would do whatever they can to ensure that 10 teams are on the grid and competing next year. In order to protect their own business, I believe they would help to facilitate, which means paying, to ensure that those teams would be around to compete next year. I mean, I have to say I hope he's right because Formula 1 just cannot afford to lose any teams right now because, well, in all honesty, who's going to be there to buy them out and keep those 10 teams on the grid? With all the uncertainty businesses are facing right now, there's not exactly going to be a huge queue of investors at the door to save a team on the brink of going under. The last thing businesses are going to be looking to do is spend an absolute fortune on Formula 1. So if Liberty want a 10-team grid, they're going to have to step in. Then again, as many would argue, and it's a fair point, Liberty Media are a business too, so can they afford to be bailing teams out? Fingers crossed we don't lose anybody because, like I say, we cannot afford to drop to a 9, an 8 or a 7-team grid. And finally, but I suppose technically carrying on from the last story, Claire Williams has said that it is critical for the Williams team's future that F1 does get racing at some point in 2020. However, she did, as you would expect, stress that the season can only start once it is safe to do so. Now, speaking to Sky Sports News, Williams said the following: "We have to wait, obviously, until the time is right and it is safe to do so. We have spent so much time locked into meetings, the team principals together with the FIA and F1 over the past 4 weeks to ensure we do absolutely everything we need to do to make sure all of us come out of this at the end of this year unscathed. Clearly, a big part of that is about when we are able to go racing again, particularly for a team like ours. We are one of the true independents left. We don't have the backing that the majority of our competitors have up and down the grid. For us, going racing is absolutely critical this year, but as I said, it has to be when it's safe to do so. We just hope that we can get back to the racetrack this year, go racing, and really for us, we can take it from there." But just how much money are teams losing whilst F1 is on hold? Well, according to AlphaTauri boss Franz Tost, the estimated cost could be as much as 1.5 to 2 million euros per race. So if that figure proves to be correct, that will mean that with the opening 9 races already either cancelled or postponed and France looking likely to be next, teams could be anywhere from 13.5 million to 20 million euros out of pocket, and that's assuming, of course, we take the lower 1.5 million figure over 9 races and the higher 2 million over 10 races, as France looks likely to be at least postponed. I don't know why I felt the need to explain that, but there we go. Something else Toss said that is worth noting is effectively that teams should be able to manage the situation if the season starts in July, and that of course is a month that Ross Brawn has already earmarked as a possible start point. So Toss said, if we start racing in July, we'll get off with a black eye. If that's not the case, things will get very critical. If nothing comes in at all, it will be a very critical matter. If you don't get any income at all, it is obviously a disaster economically. I mean, look, whether or not the season can start in July remains to be seen, but Helmut Marko has said that there is a good chance racing can get going again with the Austrian Grand Prix on July 5th, after authorities in the country apparently said that they would not stand in the way of the race going ahead, so long as it was held behind closed doors. Which, of course, is an option being explored by Formula 1 for most, if not all, of the races in Europe, as a way to try and get the 2020 championship at least underway. Marko also added that it is possible for 2 races to be held at the Red Bull Ring, with the first race to go ahead on the scheduled date of July 5th, and the second race on Wednesday the 8th. Yes, I did say Wednesday, not sure about that one, but as people in F1 keep stressing, there has got to be some flexibility, so maybe midweek races could be a possibility. And as covered on Saturday, that could be followed by at least 2 back-to-back races at Silverstone, and it would all be with, I guess you could say, a skeleton crew if you like, with the focus being on getting the world feed broadcast. Essentially, the teams would be there, the minimum number of personnel needed to broadcast the sessions and races would be there, but don't expect the likes of, let's say, Sky Sports to be broadcasting from the racetrack. It is also expected that written media would not be allowed to attend either. I will caveat all of that though by once again saying that that is according to Helmut Marko, so we'll have to wait and see on that one, but that is it for this video. You can, as ever, let me know your thoughts on any of the stories featured today down in the comments section, but also, could you see Lewis Hamilton making a switch to Ferrari one day in the future? Let me know what you think. Now, I will be back soon with more content as ever, but in the meantime, don't forget that you can of course follow me over on social media, and all of the links you need for that are in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye-bye.